Hey yo, what's going on YouTube? I thought I would make a tutorial on how I usually go about my templates, because when I teach on private lessons and when I do like streaming and stuff, a lot of the time newcomers usually ask about like what kind of project are you starting out with. So I thought I'm gonna share the Nosphere method of like going about projects or like building a template. Let's hop right into Ableton. The first thing when you open up Ableton, you're gonna get 2 audio channels and like a bunch of return tracks. I don't use return tracks, so I just disable them. I also like to use channel delay. You can click this D, you can open up channel delay over here. As you can see, you can increase and decrease channel delay. I'm gonna keep these 2 just for reference tracks. For now, I'm just gonna call this tracks. Okay, I'm gonna open up a new audio channel, Control T, and I'm gonna name this intro/break. I'm gonna duplicate the audio channel here because I like to start out with 3. Now I'm gonna create a Serum MIDI track. It can be any synth, by the way, so it doesn't have to be Serum. If you don't use Serum, then that's totally fine. After this, I'm probably creating a new audio channel. I'm gonna group the MIDI and the audio channel and call this drop. I think I'm gonna put my sub in as well. I already named it to sexy sub. Cool. Now I'm gonna make a group for the drums. This is gonna be super simple. We need 1 kick drum, 1 clap or snare, and we need at least 2 or 3 for the hi-hats. So for the hi-hats, I'm gonna make it teal. Assign track color gonna be drums. I really like to use the Agony drum pack. Let me just use one of my own right now. I usually hate to start the project at like the first bar, because then if I change my mind and I want to do a riser, for example, or like a sweep or a cymbal sweep, I have to push the whole project like, you know, a couple of bars ahead. So because of that, I start at 9 usually. So my drop is usually around 41, and let me show you how I calculate that. Super easy. So dubstep in general is based on 8-bar loops or 8-bar sections. So my first section is going to be intro, 8 bars after that is going to be the theme, 16 bars after the theme is going to be build, and then 8 bars after the build is going to be drop. This is just like a general layout. You don't need to stick to this like all the time, but it's a good starting point. Make sure your one-shots aren't warped. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in the usual rides. And then I'm gonna put a hi-hat in as well, just in case I need it. But usually I don't, but just in case, you know. And now let's worry about the sidechain. Now you can sidechain like 10 different ways, probably. My favorite way of sidechaining is to make an audio track, and then I'm gonna click the in so it plays the input back for us. So right now I'm gonna route the intro to the sidechain and also the drop group to the sidechain. And now everything will be sidechained. Now the plugin of my choice is Chain Shaper, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna show you how to make it with a utility, because not a lot of people have Chain Shaper or, you know, any kind of external plugin or Max for Life plugins, but you can get this. I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks. The thing I like about Chain Shaper is that it draws out the waveform that you're sidechaining and the waveform that you're sidechaining with. So it's pretty handy in terms of setting the perfect amount of sidechaining. So if you click the input here, you can select your drums. And if I just put a singular node inside Serum, as you can see, it draws it out perfectly. So if I, for example, have a too long sidechain, it's going to be super apparent. And if it's too short, you can see that too. If you can't judge by your ears, you know, by what you hear, then this is a perfect tool for you. And I always learn super visually, so I love that method. But for the sake of this video, we could use utility. So it's 1/16, so something like that, for example. If you want to do it the old school way, you could always use a compressor. You can set the sidechain on the compressor to the kick drum. You can fade away the low end of the actual kicks, so it's going to be much shorter and like snappier. But also you could do it with a gate That's also super common, I think. So if you set it up like this and you click flip, it's gonna act as a sidechain compressor. Now let's color code things so it's a bit easier. For my master, I use G-Clip, which is free, so you can use it on Mac and Windows as well. I use hard clipping. Sometimes I use V-Clip or JST Clip or knock clipper, different types of clippers, but usually I just stay on hard clipping. Another thing I do, which is super good, I use distortion on the drop group, so you could just have a saturator on there with soft sine, some amounts of distortion, what you're comfortable with, and it glues the sub together with the mid, so that is pretty cool. On the master though, I have a Pro Q for visualizing the whole song. I usually put this on my secondary screen over here, which you cannot see. And then I use Ozone Imager 2, just like everyone else, for stereo imaging and, you know, just analyzing the stereo while I'm working on it. This project is going to be downloadable for Patreon subscribers, so make sure if you want to use this exact template to be a patron. But actually I'm going to change the sub to an operator sub, because I know some of you don't have Serum. So actually, you know what, I'm going to change it to Vital, because Vital is free and you can't have any excuses if you're not using Vital anymore. So I'm probably gonna do tutorials like this, you know, like workflow tips and stuff, or maybe sound designing sessions. But if you like the video and if you want to see more of this, then definitely leave your thoughts in the comments. Maybe share it with your grandma if your grandma wants to make dubstep and she needs a template, then that could be useful for her. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.